Hello everyone, I am Preet and welcome to Relevant Myths. Today I will tell you the short story of Savitri and Satyavan from the Mahabharata. The story of Savitri and Satyavan is found in the Aranya Parva, which is third of the 18 books of the Mahabharata. Specifically, the story is in the sub-parva of Aranya Parva called Pativrata Mahatmya Parva. The timeline of our story is when the Pandavas are in their 12 years of Vanvas after losing everything in the game of dice against Duryodhan and Shakuni. Duryodhan's brother-in-law, king of Sindh, Chaidrath, had tried to kidnap Draupadi but was unsuccessful and was punished by the Pandavas. After that incident, Yudhishthir is worried and sad at how much cruelty and humiliation poor Draupadi has had to go through. While sitting with sage Markandeya, Yudhishthir asked the sage whether there was any woman in the world who was as chaste and pious as Draupadi. Hearing that, sage Markandeya begins to tell the Pandavas the story of Savitri and Satyavan. After leaving his kingdom and living as a brahmachari and practicing all the laws of celibacy for 18 years, Goddess Saraswati herself appeared in front of King Ashwapati of Madra. Pleased by Ashwapati's dedication, Goddess Saraswati told him to ask for a virtuous boon. Ashwapati asked for the boon that many worthy sons be born to him. Hearing that, Goddess Saraswati told him, "O king, a daughter with great qualities will soon be born to you. It is appropriate that you do not ask any further questions. I am telling you this as Lord Brahma himself had told me to." Ashwapati nodded his head, happily accepted the boon of having a daughter and went back to his kingdom. After some time, his wife gave birth to a daughter and she was named Savitri, which is another name of Goddess Saraswati. Savitri grew up to be really beautiful, intelligent and pious. One day, Ashwapati told Savitri to go in search for a husband whom she likes and he will marry her to him. Savitri obeyed the command and went to various kingdoms, towns and forests in search of a man of her liking. She returned back after some time and informed Ashwapati that she wanted to marry a prince named Satyavan. The divine Rishi Narad was also present during that time, who had come to meet King Ashwapati. Hearing Satyavan's name, he immediately said, "O king, Satyavan is the son of King Dyumatsen of Shalva. Dyumatsen is a very wise king, but one day he became blind and seeing that opportunity, the neighboring king attacked him and forced him and his wife to live in the forest. So, Dyumatsen is a king but is currently living in the forest and his son Satyavan has grown up completely in the forest as well. Satyavan himself is a very handsome and intelligent man. He is dutiful, honorable and has all the good qualities of a husband and a king. So just the fact that he currently resides in the forest shouldn't be a no to marry him. But still, I recommend your daughter to not marry him because I have seen his future and he is destined to die in just 1 year. And I don't want my friend's daughter to remain a widow for her entire life." Hearing that, Ashwapati pleaded to Savitri to not marry Satyavan, but Savitri was firm in her decision and said that in her life she would give her heart only once and that she had already given it to Satyavan. Ashwapati had to ultimately bow to Savitri's decision, and so he went to the forest and requested King Dyumatsen to marry his son to his daughter. Dyumatsen happily agreed and Savitri and Satyavan were married according to all rituals. After marriage, Savitri lived with Satyavan and his parents in the forest and honestly served the family. Days passed and everyone was happy, but Savitri just couldn't shake off Narad Rishi's words that Satyavan would die in a year. She had been counting each day, and when only 4 days remained to the day when Satyavan would die, she decided to take the 3 Ratri vow where she would fast day and night till 3 nights are over. On the 4th day, i.e. the day of Satyavan's death, she accompanied Satyavan in the forest to pluck fruits as she didn't want to leave him alone. Savitri and Satyavan walked in the forest where Satyavan described the beautiful forest to her, and she just kept looking at him melancholically in all his moods. She tried to concentrate on his face, but Sage Narad's words just kept coming in her mind again and again. Ultimately, she gave up and even started considering that Satyavan was already dead and just walked with him waiting for the moment to happen. Satyavan stopped at a tree and climbed it in order to pluck the fruits, but when he came down, he was really sweaty and his head was aching. Satyavan couldn't even stand, so he rested his head on Savitri's lap. Savitri panicked, but there was nothing that she could do except try to calm Satyavan. Suddenly, she saw a very bright light. The light subsided after some time, and the god of death and dharma, Yam himself, was present in front of her. Yam informed Savitri, "Your husband Satyavan's days on earth have run out, and so I have come to take him away. Satyavan is a virtuous man with many accomplishments, so instead of my emissaries, I myself have come to take him." He then proceeded to tie Satyavan with his noose, took his soul out of his body, dragged the soul with the noose in his hand, and started going in the southern direction. Seeing all that, Savitri, overwhelmed with grief, decided to follow Yam. Seeing her following, Yam told her, "Don't follow me, Savitri. Go and organize your husband's funeral. He is dead. You are free from all duties towards him. You have come as far as it is possible to come." Savitri replied, "It is a wife's duty to follow her husband everywhere he goes, and I will not falter in my duties. It is one of the most important promises a wife gives to her husband during marriage, and I have followed the Grihastha Ashram way of life with all my heart. Do listen to what I have to say. There are 4 stages of a person's life: Brahmacharya Ashram, which is studying while being celibate; Grihastha Ashram, which is married domestic life; Vanaprastha Ashram, which is slowly transferring duties to younger generation and retiring into the forest; and Sannyas Ashram, which is renouncing all material things and trying to attain moksha. It is said that by following these 4 stages of life, one gets merit. But one doesn't get merit by just following these 4 stages. It is more important to follow dharma and be virtuous and follow even one stage properly. Following dharma is the most important factor of one's life, and if one doesn't follow dharma, then even following all the 4 stages will gain no merits. I am in Grihastha Ashram right now, and I intend to follow it according to dharma in the best way possible." Hearing that, Yam replied, "O Savitri, besides being the god of death, I am also the god of dharma, so I am really pleased by the knowledge that you have displayed. Ask for any boon that you want except the life of your husband, and I shall grant it to you right now." Savitri, who was trying to keep up with Yam, having not eaten anything for 3 days, exhaustingly replied, "My father-in-law lost his eyesight and thus was forced to live in the forest. I request you to give him his eyesight back and make him stronger than before." Yam said, "So be it. Now I have even granted a boon to you. You seem really tired and fatigued. Go away, Savitri." "How can a wife serving her husband be tired?" questioned Savitri. "I am still quite capable. Do listen to me, O Lord. Even a single conversation with intelligent people is very beneficial. Friendship with them even more so. Conversations with the virtuous are never fruitless. Therefore, one should always be in the company of intelligent and virtuous people." Hearing that, Yam said, "These words of knowledge that you are speaking are a delight to my mind, Savitri. I grant you another boon. Ask for whatever you want except the life of your husband." Savitri replied, "My father-in-law lost his kingdom before some time. May he get his kingdom back." "So be it. Your father-in-law will be a king again. But please stop now. Don't take any more trouble and go away, please." Savitri replied, "Keep listening to me, O Lord. Dharma of the virtuous is to give love to others in thoughts, words and deeds. Most people don't have devotion or skills, but the virtuous show compassion to even their enemies if they ever seek their protection." "Your words are like water to a thirsty soul, Savitri. ask for another boon except the life of your husband. My maternal father, King Ashwapati, doesn't have any children other than me. So my third boon is that may he and my mother have 100 sons. So be it. But now please go, you have come far enough. How can I have come far enough if you, who has my husband, is still going? Do listen to me. The virtuous call you the Lord of Dharma because you give life and death to people on the basis of their karma. And one should never even think about having any doubt in the dharmic and virtuous and should always wish to be closer to them. The virtuous inspire other people's confidence and so people always rely on virtuous and dharmic people. What I am hearing today, I have never heard better from anyone else. Ask for a fourth boon, Savitri, except for the life of your husband. But please go away after that. I don't have any children. May I and Satyavan have 100 sons who are all strong and virtuous. So be it. You will have 100 powerful and virtuous sons, but don't follow me now. Stop, Savitri. You are completely exhausted and you have come too far. Keep listening, O Lord. The dharmic always practices eternal morality. A conversation of one dharmic with another is always fruitful and there is no danger from one dharmic to another. It is on virtuous and dharmic people does the future depend. They continue to do good to others without expecting anything in return, and so the virtuous often become the protectors of all. Yam, now completely unable to hide his joy, said, "The more I hear these intelligent and philosophical words from you, the more my respect for you increases, Savitri. Ask for another boon and I will give it to you." Savitri immediately answered, "O Lord, the boon that you gave me before about me having 100 sons with Satyavan cannot be fulfilled without Satyavan being alive. So, for this boon, may my husband Satyavan be brought back to life." Hearing that, Yam started laughing and admired Savitri for her intelligence. He brought Satyavan back to life and left for his abode. Savitri then rushed back to Satyavan's dead body and sat back in her original place and kept Satyavan's head on her lap. Satyavan slowly woke up and was a bit perplexed, but Savitri calmed him and they returned back to their hut. When they reached there, Dyumat had got his eyesight back and one of his loyalists in the kingdom informed them that the neighboring king had been killed by one of his own men and that man was also further killed. So there was no king at the moment and the people demanded that Dyumat come back and start ruling again. So the family returned back to the kingdom and Savitri had 100 sons with Satyavan. Meanwhile, Savitri's mother had also given birth to 100 sons, so Savitri's children had 100 uncles who could take care of them and protect them also. Thus, Savitri lived happily with Satyavan and their children were also safe and secure. So this was the story of Savitri and Satyavan. Comment your thoughts about this story down below. What did you learn from it? What did you find fascinating? Tell me all your opinions below. And if you like my content, please like the video and share it to your friends and family. Subscribe to Relevant Myths and press the bell icon in order to get more such stories and trivias from the unending world of Indian culture and mythology. Thank you for watching and have an awesome day.